Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. I'd like to start it off by showing you an interesting thing about Strategy Quant as a tool. Throughout the course, we've been showing you different results. I was telling you how we make sure that Strategy Quant is a top tool. And what's great, one user from Slovakia who uses Strategy Quant came third in the World Cup Championship of Futures Trading, among the best traders in the world. And I'd like to show you that because I believe it's a great demonstration that we are doing the job well. The name of this trader is Marek Krastina. He's now in third place in the ongoing World Cup Championship with a net return of 100%. In 2021, he came in third place with a return of 164%, and the previous year he also came in third place with 182%. Right on our website, you can find an interview with Marek, conducted by my colleague Mark, the founder of Strategy Quant, or one of the founders of Strategy Quant. At the same time, I would like to point out one very important thing. Strategy Quant is a tool, and the results always depend on who is working with the tool. So just because you get Strategy Quant doesn't automatically mean that you will get the results like Mark Rastina mentioned above. In this contest, you trade with $10,000 no demo account. This is the same contest that Larry Williams won in 1987. Over 11,000%. That's sick, right? And a few years later, his daughter won the contest. But anyway, Strategy Quant is just a tool. If you know how to use it properly, and you know how to build strategies in it, and you dedicate yourself to it, you can have those results. But like Strategy Quant alone won't bring you salvation. Please keep that in your mind to avoid any disappointment. And now let's move on to the second part of the webinar, where I will first introduce the unique method of strategy building in theory, and then show you everything in practice and in detail. Everything we are going to talk about today is based primarily on the knowledge of my colleague Cornell, who has a lot of experience with this method and uses it a lot for several years now. First, let's show the result that can be achieved with this method on some charts. This one was built by Cornell in 2015 and is no longer running, but it worked for about 5 years on a 30-minute time frame, and again, it is a strategy for futures. Future strategies are stable over the long term, and this one in particular ran very well for several years. However, when the COVID came in, market volatility increased rapidly and the stop losses were not enough. What you are looking at is the overall result the strategy has produced over 5 years without a sample. It's a total of some 400 very decently profitable trades relative to the potential risk. Then we have the other strategy that's still running, and even though its volatility has gone up slightly, it's still doing well, it's still tradable. Again, this is futures, and you can see for yourself that the long-term results are really stable. It did really well in the beginning. You can see on the chart the rocket growth. Then the volatility increased and it started to bounce a little bit. But we don't mind the volatility too much as long as the strategy works well in the long run. Plus, in the current market environment, volatility is just to be expected. The key thing is that the strategies really work over the long term. They have a long out of sample, and while the first strategy hasn't dealt with the volatility, the second strategy, which is now in 6th year, has dealt with it very well. The red line in the chart indicates out of sample, so when the strategy was built and launched. And you can see that strategies built by using the templates are successful in the long-term horizon. The results after 2015 keep holding the same character as before 2015, and that's great. So how does the method work? This method is not well known because most of the softwares for automated trading do not offer such a possibility or function, so there are not many traders who would know that. But honestly, we do not mind it that much because we will teach you how to use it. And what is actually the principle of using the templates? I like to explain it to you using something we all know from everyday life, and that's cooking. Imagine you have a fridge. At Strategy Quant, we work with templates, and the process is basically that we have a fridge where we have ingredients. We take the ingredients and we put them into Strategy Quant. In the graphic, let's imagine that we have a new Apple iCook app for the fridge that finds recipes from the ingredients that we have in the fridge. And those recipes can be good or can be bad. But we can we can put certain restriction on the app. We can specify, for example, that it should search for a recipe from Chinese cuisine. So in the results, we are using our own expectations, our own ideas, but at the same time, we are giving the app room to experiment and trying to find the best combination that we are likely to like. And it's very similar with the templates on the market. We have a basic set of indicators, inputs and outputs that we work with in Strategy Quant, to which we define just some boundaries or limits. It can be a type of input condition, etc. And the result is a strategy. The advantage is that experience enters into this process. Our experiences from our previous trading or investing. If I would put this in other words, when it comes to a usual strategy building, we do not set any boundaries and conditions to Strategy Quant. It just does what it wants. But using templates, we are setting these boundaries. We can command it to find breakout strategy for gold with this input and find how to trade it better using some additional entry filters. Or we can have a strategy, an idea, but we have no idea what the output should be. So we command the Strategy Quant entry based on this and that, and find me the best way to exit. So we give it an entry and it gives us an exit. Exit condition, idle money management, and so on. Like this, we can combine our ideas with a computing power and reach even better results, get more stable and sustainable strategies. Also, I would like to mention that you can find the full knowledge of templates in the masterclass course where we go deeply into it. There are several modules dedicated to templates. There are plenty of templates that you can start using right away. And that is advantage, because a lot of you are not sure if you will have a time to build your own strategies. So you can start just with these templates, and just from these templates, you can build a basic portfolio and then start to explore it in more depth. And what are our options? It was my colleague Colonel who pushed hard for the implementation of these templates here at Strategy Quant, because the sad reality is that Strategy Quant is the only software in the world that allows you to create templates and custom blocks without coding. Just to understand custom blocks, imagine that you have a template, for example, breakout strategy, and you have like 10 ideas of how to exit. So we set these 10 ways of exit, and Strategy Quant will find the best one or the best combination for us, which is totally awesome. It's just the best. But everywhere else, in any other app in the world, you would have to code it all. You can create strategies using a wide variety of building blocks right in Strategy Quant, or create your own blocks. That's the other building method, the opposite of the ones we've shown, and it literally has a lot of advantages. And probably the biggest advantage, and one of the most frequently asked questions, is that using this method, you can very quickly check whether a particular trading idea makes sense and then throw it away or improve it effectively. Let's imagine it like this. You have some idea for a strategy that involves RSI and moving averages or whatever. Simply put, you have an idea of how something might work in the market. And you can use AlgoWizard to quite easily set up the strategy, see if it works or not, then use a template, for example, and start improving that idea and looking for ways to trade it better, which is really perhaps the biggest advantage of this method. You are not only improving those strategies, you are using them as templates. Now let's see the method in practice. So we will start by loading a strategy in AlgoWizard, run a builder, and end up with some interesting strategies in retester. So let's start in AlgoWizard. And I'm going to load the strategy named base strategy that we are going to work with. It's a very simple strategy that nevertheless has a very interesting idea that is profitable in the markets over the long term. When the price reaches high of 150 candlesticks, we open the position. Very simple. We have stop loss and trailing stop both set up to 50. And first of all, we have to backtest the strategy. So click on Settings button and check that you have MetaTrader 5 engine, time frame is H1, symbol is futures gold, and click on Run Full Backtest. And here we see the result of the backtest. We can open it, go to Equity Chart, and display the chart to see the result in more detail. So this is our starting point. And now we are finally getting to the template itself, and we will improve it and add new market condition. But which one? Which one condition we should add? Well, who knows? I'd be quite interested personally to see what filter would smooth out the equity chart, what conditions would help this. If you were programmers, you would have started coding the conditions by now, trying, for example, moving averages, and then this, and then that, and so on, and again and again. But we, because we use Strategy Quant, do not have to code, and we do everything very elegantly and let Strategy Quant choose that condition by itself. I'm going to take the whole idea and put it into template mode. So I will go to the Setting tab, to Advanced, and I will turn on this button. At first glance, nothing changed, right? But the strategy has become a template, and a whole new universe of possibilities has opened up for us to work with the strategy, now a template. I said we would try to add some interesting entry condition. So now I'm going to switch over to the first tab, Trading Signals, which is the tab where we enter the input conditions. And just to clarify these conditions, now the strategy trades every trading opportunity. Anytime the price reaches the 150 candlestick high, we enter the trade. But when we add a condition, Strategy Quant firstly look at the condition and will open the trade when the condition is met. So it will definitely skip some of the trades that we have here now. So I'm in the tab Trading Signals, and to the Always True condition, I'm going to add new condition, select random conditions, and random condition again. And guess what happened? Yes, that's right, a randomly generated condition. And we can feel free to delete the first always true because we doesn't need it anymore. And that was our first step. With this template, we will try to build some strategies. So let's save it and name it template 01. Now go to the builder and make it nice and clear. So if you have some strategies here, save them or delete them. It's up to you. The first thing we always have to do is to, when it comes to templates, is to load the template. So go to the full settings, what to build, choose Strategy from Template, click on Browse and select the template we've just created. Now we move to the Data tab, where we check the correct symbol, in our case gold, Engine MetaTrader 5, which allows us to trade futures, H1 time frame, right dates, 1 minute data tick precision. We have the template loaded, data are set, so we can go back to the Progress tab and start generating. In our case, Strategy Quant will build the strategies based on building blocks that we can see under the full settings and building blocks. With templates, you can define all of this by your own, but right now, to keep it simple, we will build the strategies based on what we have here. Strategy Quant will choose an ideal combination. We already have our first strategies, so now I will show you what Strategy Quant has found for us, and I will also show you where we've defined it in the template. Let's filter the strategies by stability, and I'm going to click on the strategy to look at the equity chart, and we see that the curve is quite nice. Now let's take a look at the source code. Even if you don't understand this right now, you don't have to worry about it. I will just show you the context we've provided in the template. The first thing I was wondering was if there was some filter from conditions indicators that would improve the basic idea. This is long entry signal, and if you would go back to Algo Wizard, to the first tab, you see that the names match. So that long entry signal there in the strategy is what we have set here before to be randomly generated. And Strategy Quant has generated that in the case of this strategy, the long entry signal has a condition where parabolic SAR from main chart is lower than lowest from main chart, and it's without exit. And if we would check another strategy, here we have ATR from main chart is rising and low from main chart crosses below close daily. And now if you go to equity chart to see the chart, you can see that it's nice and smooth. Now we will move back to Algo Wizard, and I will show you how to further work with the template. If we would want to further develop this concrete strategy, we could define not exactly 150 candlesticks, but we can let the Strategy Quant find the ideal number. So click on the formula, switch period to generate randomly, and rewrite the default value to 50 to 150 with step 10. Like this, Strategy Quant would also look for the period of the indicator. Then we can kind of play with stop losses. You can let, for example, trailing stop on, or you can turn it off, or you can define the standard stop loss in a different way. Click on three dot icon and choose generate randomly, and do the same for the trailing stop we have here. For this concrete strategy, I guess that would be it. Right now, I do not have anything more on my mind that could help to improve it. But generally, the templates allows us to create any strategy type. So we could possibly consider pullbacks or so, and everything can be set here. So you have an idea, you choose a condition, then you define your stop loss, profit target, exit, create a template, load it in Builder, and within a few minutes you can see if you are moving in the right direction or not. The great advantage of Algo Wizard is the fact that even if you don't know for 100% how it works, you can just have the template and start the strategy building using it. Algo Wizard is a new thing that may seem complicated at first, but if you work with it for a while, you will figure it out. And if you are really interested to get into it more in detail, We recommend to get a masterclass course where there are 2 modules dedicated to Algo Wizard and templates. It is like a step-by-step manual from the first little steps to a very complex templates. As you may suspect, we could spend here hours and hours talking about the template, what is possible, how to set it up, and so on, because there is so many possibilities. But today's goal was to show you another way of how to create strategies, its basics and principles, so I hope this simple was clear enough. These few minutes that we have here within the webinar will never be enough for anyone to fully understand it. And that's why we have that course I mentioned, where you can also get the templates for yourself. They are just ready to use. Even if we don't want you to copy our ways exactly. But on the other hand, we know that if we will give you something that you can copy, it will help you to understand it better and start quicker. So you can use templates for breakout strategies, seasonal strategies, or for stocks and many others. And using these templates, you can build your own portfolio of 7 or 8 strategies for Forex, indexes, stocks, commodities, etc. So you can have nicely diversified portfolio that can bring you some profit, and after that you can start to deepen your knowledge, and this all just from the templates we will give you in that course. And of course, you can reach great results not just by using these templates or templates in general, but of course the advantage of templates is the fact that they have firmly set parameters and they work steadily. So you can use them, you can modify them, and you can just build on them. Here, for example, you can see strategy for gold and its 7 years of history. I'm sure I've already shown you this one maybe 2 times, but this is a great example of how long such a strategy can work. And concretely, this strategy built Thomas as a newbie when he started with our course in 2014, and then, like a few years later, he became a member of our team already as an experienced trader. These are another results from Tiptoe Hippo. You've also seen it before, and of our next student. So you can really achieve a great result, but most of all, we know that the backtests are proven and match to reality. Like on this slide, where you see reality versus backtest. And as we said before, having a nice backtest is not enough. We have to have the right strategy development so the backtest would really match the real market behavior. And that's one of our piles. We check it constantly during development of strategy quant. And it matches perfectly. And if there are some exceptions, like you can see here, but that's honestly very rare. Like, for example, here there's like 16 strategies and only 3 of them, like this one, and this one, are having bigger differences. Well, and that's actually all for today. Check lab.sq.academy/strategy lab because we are slowly getting to the end of our strategy lab course. So also the possibility of getting the course and licenses for lower and unit prices. We've shown you all the possibilities before, so I believe it is not necessary to repeat again. Just check the website, think it through, and choose your option. Also, just reminding that your license will expire at the end of the week. So, thank you guys for your attention. I hope you liked today's topic and that you learned something new. And I also hope you will stay with us in the future to deepen your knowledge even more. So, trade wisely, have a great day, and see you next time.